We return now to our top story, what the formation of a new government in the Czech Republic could mean for Europe, NATO and Ukraine. Joining me for more is Roland Freudenstein, co-founder at the Brussels Freedom Hub. Good evening, Roland.
Good evening, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about Prague. We have a coalition made up of a far-right anti-EU and NATO party. We've got the Eurosceptic Motorists and we've got the populist anti-NATO party. Break it down for me. I mean, what will this mean in practice for the country? And potentially, what will it mean for the Czech Republic's position on the likes of NATO, Ukraine?
Well, it's not good news. So we are having nationalists, some with open fascist leanings in government. And we have indeed, as you said, anti-EU, anti-NATO people in responsible positions. And we will also see some degree of convergence between Czechia, Slovakia and Hungary. So that will become a kind of a Ukraine skeptic, potentially pro-Russian triangle in the European Union and NATO. And that's not good news.
So do you think that we will see a real gear change when it comes to the Czechs' position?
Well, that's an open question still. We've got these declarations made before the election by Babiš and by his coalition partners, but we also have the president of the Czech Republic, Petr Pavel, who is definitely on the other side. Now, he has to work with that government in some way, but I think he can prevent the worst from happening, and he can at least send some signals that not the whole of Czechia is changing in the direction that Mr. Babiš would like it to change. And last but not least, I don't think we're going to see a Hungary-style authoritarian change in the country. Checks and balances in the Czech Republic still work. So all this is good news within the big bad news that we now have a NATO skeptic and potentially pro-Russian government in Prague.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I mean, when we talk about Andrej Babiš, is it as simple as saying that the Czech Republic now has another Viktor Orbán or Robert Fico running the show, or is he simply a more pragmatic operator?
Well, definitely the latter. Also, Robert Fico is more pragmatic than Viktor Orbán. So we will have the two northern neighbors of Hungary not becoming authoritarian countries like Hungary has become. But I mean, even for Hungary, there's hope next year. But so it's a mixed picture, and I think we will see a lot of pragmatism from those governments, because in fact, neither Robert Fico nor Andrej Babiš will want to leave the EU, will want to go into an open battle with Brussels the way that Viktor Orbán does.
I am curious because Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, he wants the likes of Fico and Babiš to form a kind of blocking minority within the EU with him. Babiš has since poured some cold water on the idea, but do you see that kind of a minority existing and then stifling Brussels even further, especially when it comes to Ukraine?
Blocking minority for those three countries wouldn't work. I mean, the votes are just not there. A blocking minority has to be a sizable part of the European Council, and this is dependent on the relative size of countries and the number of their citizens. So these three countries cannot form a blocking minority. But it's, any ally is welcome for Viktor Orbán in trying to slow down EU help for Ukraine. And we see this in the latest hot question with the frozen assets, Russian frozen assets, and the way the EU wants to use it, or the majority of the countries of the EU want to use it to actually assist Ukraine in filling the budget deficit and paying for the reconstruction of Ukraine. So Orbán intends to block this. The other member states will find a way around it. But, if Orbán is not alone, that is still better for him, and he can maybe slow it down a little bit longer. But all this is why the EU is now really aiming to have a decisive a decision on the frozen assets before the new Czech government actually takes office in December.
Well, we're running out of time, but briefly on the frozen assets and on Brussels being stifled. I mean, again this week, we've seen an inability to make a decision when it comes to those frozen assets. Is Europe going round and round in circles, and what will it take to release them?
The other member states need to give the Belgian government better guarantees that there won't be left standing in the rain, so to speak, if there is a court case. And the European Commission has to better prepare the next summit. The next summit is going to happen. It's about 19th and 20th of December. And I think we can pretty safely assume that until then, the majority of the EU member states have found a solution, and the whole operation using the frozen assets to help Ukraine is going ahead.
Roland Freudenstein, co-founder at the Brussels Freedom Hub. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
And that's all for World News tonight. Do stay with us here on TVP World. I'm Aaron Darman. Good night.